It's installing 100 GW grid-connected solar power plants by the year 2022. This is in line with India's intended nationally determined contributions target to achieve about 40% cumulative electric power installed capacity from non-fossil fuel-based energy.
Good evening, viewers. This is your anchor Kekrizanyo Solo. You're now watching Hornbill TV's Prime Time. First, the headlines. At least 3 people have been killed in a Russian drone attack near Kyiv, which damaged a residential apartment building, 8 houses, commercial buildings, and several cars, Ukraine's Interior Ministry said on Friday. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari on Friday confirmed that the death toll in the Maharashtra ordnance factory blast has risen to 8. The ongoing Maha Kumbh 2025 in Prayagraj has witnessed an unprecedented turnout of devotees, with over 100 million people taking a holy dip at the sacred confluence of Ganga, Yamuna and the mythical Saraswati river since January, the commencement of the mega spiritual event. The U.S. Department of Defense is deploying 1,500 active duty service members along with additional air and intelligence assets to the southern border to support enforcement operations already underway. Acting Secretary of Defense Robert Sales made the announcement on Wednesday. Those were the top headlines, and now for the news in details. At least 3 people have been killed in a Russian drone attack near Kyiv, which damaged a residential apartment building, 8 houses, commercial buildings, and several cars, Ukraine's Interior Ministry said on Friday, Al Jazeera reported. It said that 2 men and a woman were killed in drone debris in the overnight attack on central Kyiv region, and the attack on Kyiv came as Russian authorities said that the country's air defense system intercepted and destroyed 121 drones launched by Ukraine's overnight. In a statement shared on Telegram, Russian Defense Ministry announced that the drones were shot down in 13 Russian regions, including 7 over Moscow and the region nearby. Moscow Mayor Sergei Sobyanin said that the drones had been intercepted at several places around Russia's capital. The Moscow airports Vnukovo and Domodedovo were handling flights after suspending operations, according to Russia's Federal Aviation Agency. Al Jazeera cited Russian news agencies. According to Russian Defense Ministry, other regions targeted by the attacks include Kursk, Belgorod and the Russian-annexed Crimean Peninsula. Amid the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine, both sides are eyeing for advantage ahead of possible negotiations in the early days of U.S. President Donald Trump's administration. Before returning to the White House for the second time, Trump vowed to end the conflict between Moscow and Kyiv. After assuming office, raising expectations he would use aid to force Ukraine to make concessions to Russia, which launched offensive in February 2022, Al Jazeera reported. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari on Friday confirmed that the death toll in the Maharashtra ordnance factory has risen to 8. He paid respect to those who lost their lives in the blast in the ordnance factory in Bhandara by observing a 1-minute silence in the course of an event. A blast took place at the ordnance factory in Jawahar Nagar, Bhandara this morning, according to reports. As per Collector Bhandara, Sanjay Kolte, the roof collapsed during the blast. The cause of the blast is yet to be ascertained. Upon receiving information about the blast in the factory, firefighters and ambulances rushed to the spot. Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis earlier stated that 5 out of the 13 to 14 workers who were trapped in the roof collapse have been evacuated from the site. Madhya Pradesh government has announced the ban of all kinds of liquor in 17 religious cities and towns of the state. Announcing this on Thursday, Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Dr. Mohan Yadav said all kinds of liquor which will be banned, and this was in line with the commitments on the basis of which the government is being run. The announcement made by Yadav is likely to be approved by the state cabinet special meeting at the historical Maheshwar town in Khargone district on Friday. The 17 cities and the towns categorized as holy or religious by successive governments in the MP between 2004 and 2013 include the CM's home, which is the city in Ujjain, Amarkantak, Maheshwar, Orcha, Omkareshwar, Mandla, Multai, Mandla, Narmadhagat, Jabalpur, Chitrakoot, Maihar, Salkanpur, Madaleshwar, Mandsaur, Barman and Panna.
आज का दिन एक अलग प्रकार का दिन है। मुझे इस बात का आनंद है आज अहिल्या माता की 300वीं जयंती के आधार पर हम मां अहिल्या की राजधानी मां नर्मदा के किनारे कैबिनेट करने जा रहे हैं, जहां हम अपनी मातृशक्ति के सशक्तिकरण की दिशा में एक मिशन को भी लोकार्पण करेंगे। साथ ही साथ उससे बढ़कर के हमारे लिए धार्मिक शहरों में हम शराबबंदी के एक बड़े निर्णय की तरफ बढ़ रहे हैं। उम्मीद कर रहा हूं कि जिस प्रकार से वर्तमान के समय में शराब के कारण से कई घर बर्बाद हो जाते हैं, बीमारियां आती है, हॉस्पिटल और कई खर्चे बढ़ जाते हैं, और उससे बढ़कर के ये अशांति और कई कारण से घर तोड़ने के एक अलग उपक्रम के माध्यम से शराब अपनी बीमारी फैलाती है। इसमें खास करके महिलाएं, बच्चों, इनको बहुत कष्ट होता है। हम उम्मीद कर रहे हैं सुशील प्रधानमंत्री के नेतृत्व में सुशासन की तरफ बढ़े, महिला, किसान, युवा, गरीब सबके जीवन में बेहतरी हो, और इसके कारण से ऐसे कई निर्णय हम करने वाले हैं जिस निर्णय के कारण से मां अहिल्या की आज की 300वीं जयंती के अवसर पर होने वाली कैबिनेट सार्थक होगी। हम अपने प्रदेश की बेहतरी के लिए जो हो सकता है वो सब करने।
Heading on to the next news, where the US Department of Defense is deploying 1,500 active duty service members along with additional air and intelligence assets to the southern border to support enforcement operations which are already underway. Acting Secretary of Defense Robert Sales made the announcement on Wednesday. The Pentagon has established a task force to oversee the swift implementation of border-related executive orders. U.S. Northern Command is leading the effort as of now, and supported by U.S. Transportation Command, the National Guard Bureau, the Military Service and the Department of Homeland Security, and the additional 1,500 active duty service members authorized by Sales will begin assisting with the placement of physical barriers and other border-related tasks within the next 24 to 48 hours. According to a senior military official, the contingent includes 1,000 soldiers and 500 Marines who had previously been standby on Southern California for potential wildfire, also related support during the Los Angeles County wildfires that broke out 2 weeks ago. With 2,500 active duty personnel already stationed in the region, the additional 1,500 troops represent a 60% increase in active duty forces since the president took office on Monday. Sales noted in his statement, in addition to the ground personnel, the Department of Defense will provide airlift support for flights operated by the Department of Homeland Security to facilitate the deportation of over 5,000 individuals detained by CBP in the border sectors of San Diego and El Paso, Texas, Sales added. Notably, after being sworn, Trump had announced that he would declare a national emergency at the southern border and send in the troops to stop the disastrous invasion of the country.
What is he doing this afternoon?
I believe it was Reuters who broke the news that President Trump signed an executive order of 1,500 additional troops to the United States southern border. This comes off of his day one action, as I just talked about on Fox News, to direct the Department of Defense to make Homeland Security a core mission of the agency. This is something President Trump campaigned on. The American people have been waiting for such a time as this, for our Department of Defense to actually take Homeland Security seriously. This is the #1 priority for the American people, and the President is already delivering.
What will those troops be doing exactly?
The ongoing Maha Kumbh 2025 in Prayagraj has witnessed an unprecedented turnout of devotees, with over 100 million people taking a holy dip at the sacred confluence of Ganga, Yamuna and the mythical Saraswati River since January, the commencement of the mega spiritual event. According to a statement from the Uttar Pradesh government, the number crossed this milestone by Thursday afternoon. The data was shared on the official account of Maha Kumbh on social media platform X, which was previously known as Twitter. More than 10 crore souls have bathed in the sacred Triveni Sangam, immersed in the divine grace. This historic moment at the Maha Kumbh 2025 promises an event grander and more spiritual than even before. The Uttar Pradesh government estimates that more than 45 crore people will attend the Maha Kumbh this time, according to an official statement. Several devotees from Russia and Ukraine, two countries embroiled in deadly conflict for close to 3 years, attended the Maha Kumbh Mela 2025 in Prayagraj on Thursday and presented a message of spiritual unity. The atmosphere in Prayagraj turned sublime as devotees in the cold winter evening gathered to perform kirtan and sung. Early on Wednesday, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath took the holy dip in Triveni Sangam during the Maha Kumbh in Prayagraj along with several ministers of his cabinet. Meanwhile, authorities have been focusing on preparations for the upcoming Mauni Amavas on January 29, anticipating large crowds of devotees. That was on the Maha Kumbh celebration. We'll now take a short break. Stay tuned.
ब्लैक टाइगर सीमेंट, कमाल का काम टाइगर है ना।
विकास पुरुष प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के मार्गदर्शन एवं माननीय मुख्यमंत्री योगी आदित्यनाथ जी के नेतृत्व में महाकुंभ 2025 प्रयागराज बन चुका है आस्था एवं आधुनिकता का अद्भुत संगम। डिजिटल पथ से जुड़कर देश दुनिया का हर हिस्सा श्रद्धालुओं एवं पर्यटकों की यात्रा को सरल, सुगम और सुरक्षित बना रहा है। AI पर आधारित कुंभ सहायक चैटबॉट 11 भाषाओं में पर्सनल गाइड बन रहा है। आवश्यक सेवाओं के लिए QR कोड स्कैनिंग सुविधा है। अस्थायी शहर महाकुंभ नगर के हर लोकेशन और कार्यक्रमों के लिए गूगल नेविगेशन उपलब्ध है। साफ सफाई, खाने पीने, रहने एवं किसी भी तरह की सहायता के लिए महाकुंभ में डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म उपलब्ध है। इनमें महाकुंभ ऐप, वेबसाइट, QR कोड, स्कैनिंग से लेकर चैटबॉट तक की सुविधाएं हैं। पहली बार महाकुंभ में डिजिटल महाकुंभ अनुभूति केंद्र बनाया गया है। इसमें महाकुंभ के ऐतिहासिक महत्व को डिजिटल रूप में समझा जा सकता है। 45 दिनों का महापर्व नया इतिहास रचने की ओर है अग्रसर, क्योंकि ये है दिव्य भव्य डिजिटल एकता का महाकुंभ।
Welcome back. Heading on to the next news. Michael Martin has been elected the Republic of Ireland's Prime Minister for a second term after a vote in Parliament on Thursday. Martin, leader of the Fianna Fáil party, received 95 votes in favour and 76 against his nomination, securing his return to the top office. He will lead a coalition government that includes Fianna Fáil, its historic rival Fine Gael and independent lawmakers, Al Jazeera reported. Martin's nomination faced a delay after a chaotic vote on Wednesday, which saw the Irish Parliament suspended due to opposition protests over the speaking rights of independent lawmakers supporting the incoming coalition. The deadlock was resolved overnight through talks, allowing the vote to proceed a day later. This coalition marks the second consecutive partnership between Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, the two parties that have dominated Irish politics since 1937. Independent ministers will replace the Green Party, which lost significant seats in the November elections, and the 64-year-old Martin previously served as Prime Minister from 2020 to 2022. Under the coalition agreement, Fine Gael Simon Harris is scheduled to take over as Prime Minister into 2027. Harris will first replace Martin as Deputy Prime Minister and is also expected to take on the Foreign Minister role, according to updates. Martin's return comes at a time of growing economic concerns, particularly related to the potential impact of US President Donald Trump's return to power and his promises to cut corporate taxes. Martin addressed the economic challenges in his speech to the Parliament, emphasizing the need to protect Ireland's economy in the period of uncertainty. The new coalition government is focused on using Ireland's growing tax revenues from multinational corporations, particularly US companies, to boost public sector investment, reduce taxes and build the country's sovereign wealth fund, Al Jazeera reported. Martin also underscored the need for Ireland to adapt to global economic shifts whilst ensuring that its strong ties with the US remain a cornerstone of the country's strategy. Martin, a former history teacher who first entered Parliament 36 years ago, was a senior figure in the Fianna Fáil government that signed the EU-IMF bailout in 2010. While his decision led to significant losses for the party in 2011 elections, Martin led the party's recovery, guiding Fianna Fáil back to power 9 years later. Rajouri's Government Medical College GMC in Jammu and Kashmir is being strengthened after an unidentified illness claimed 17 lives in Budal village under Kotranka sub-division. To tackle the situation, the government's health department has provided 5 child specialists and 5 anesthesia specialists to GMC Rajouri. Principal GMC Rajouri, Dr. A.S. Bhatia, confirmed that all types of advanced technology are in place to handle emergency situation. Additionally, advanced care ambulances are ready at the hospital according to latest updates. But currently, 6 patients from Budal village are under treatment at the GMC hospital and recovering as of the latest updates. The entire Budal area has been declared a containment zone, and MLA Budal Javed Iqbal has appealed to the union government to provide air ambulances for any emergency situations, enabling the airlifting of the patients. The unidentified illness has been reported in Budal village, which symptoms including fever, sweating, vomiting, dehydration, episodic loss of consciousness. Despite initial tests, no bacterial or viral infections have been detected so far. Mysterious illness and diseases still unknown to the administration have placed all departments on high alert, operating round the clock to handle the situation.
जीएमसी राजौरी का जो स्टाफ है, मैं इनकी प्रशंसा करता हूं, इनको प्रेज करता हूं कि इन्होंने दिन नहीं देखा, रात नहीं देखा। जो एचओडीज है वो भी रात को 12-1 बजे तक देखे जाते हैं। रात को सुबह 4-4:30 बजे आपके एचओडी आपको देखेंगे इन पेशेंट को एग्जामिन करते हुए। और इनकी मेहनत का नतीजा हमें मिला है कि हमने 5 पेशेंट जो फर्स्ट एपिसोड हुआ है, सेकेंड एपिसोड 9 पेशेंट्स हमारे पास थे, 5 हमारे रिकवर हुए। और ये इन सबकी पैरामेडिकल की, नर्सिस की, हमारे हॉस्पिटल के जो बाकी स्टाफ है, डॉक्टर्स हैं, हमारे मेडिकल सुपरिटेंडेंट हैं शमीम, वो 24 घंटे आप देखेंगे ऊपर नीचे पेशेंट्स के आगे पीछे होते हैं। तो इन सब की मेहनत का नतीजा कि कुछ ना कुछ अच्छा हमें मिलता है और हम ऊपर वाले की मेहरबानी से हमें मिलेगा। और जीएमसी का स्टाफ पूरी तरह से रेडी है इन केस कोई इमरजेंसी होती है उसको हैंडल करने के लिए। वी आर इक्विप्ड विद ऑल द मेडिसिन। हमारे पास दवाइयाँ हैं, हमारे पास IV फ्लूइड्स हैं, हमारे पास अगर देखा जाए किसी चीज़ की कमी नहीं। जो असेंशियल मेडिसिन है सभी, हमारे पास वेंटिलेटर्स हैं, हमारे पास मॉनिटर्स हैं। सो जीएमसी राजौरी इज़ वेल प्रिपेयर्ड टू फेस एनी इवेंट। सर, कोई पेशेंट आता है तो किस तरह से आप, हमारा स्टाफ है वो पेशेंट को पहले रिसीव करता है रिसीव करने के बाद उसको एग्जामिनेशन किया जाता है। एग्जामिनेशन करने के बाद जो जो उसकी फाइंडिंग्स होती है उसके बेसलाइन टेस्ट होते हैं, ज़रूरत पड़े तो सीटी स्कैन भी होता है, एंड देन दे प्रोसीड विद द ट्रीटमेंट। देयर इज सेट स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ प्रोटोकॉल, एसओपी है जिसके तहत वो काम करते हैं।
सर एम्बुलेंसेस की बात करें, कितनी
एम्बुलेंसेज हमारे पास हमें कमी नहीं आई है। हमारे पास 3-4 एम्बुलेंसेज खड़ी रहती हैं और सुबह 102, 108 एडवांस्ड लाइफ सपोर्ट एम्बुलेंसेज जो एनएचएम डायरेक्टेड हेल्थ के हैं, फ़ोन करने पे वो हमेशा अवेलेबल हो जाती हैं।
सर एक्स्ट्रा टीमें मंगाने की जरूरत है यहाँ पे स्टाफ की?
जी हाँ जी, स्टाफ की जो कमी है, जब अब आपने ये इवैक्यूएशन किया तो इनको टेक करने के लिए एक्स्ट्रा स्टाफ की ज़रूरत पड़ी, तो मैंने अपने सेक्रेटरी हेल्थ आबिद साहब से रिक्वेस्ट किया था और उन्होंने हमारी रिक्वेस्ट को मद्देनज़र रखते हुए आधे घंटे में उन्होंने एक ऑर्डर जीएमसी के प्रिंसिपल से करवाया, जिसमें हमें 5 एनेस्थीसिया के डॉक्टर और 5 बच्चों के डॉक्टर राजौरी को डिप्यूट किए हैं। तो दे विल स्ट्रेंथन अवर एग्जिस्टिंग मैन पावर, तो उससे हमारा काफ़ी सपोर्ट मिल जाएगी।
सर कोई भी चैलेंज का कोई पेशेंट होता है उसको उसके लिए तैयार है
जीएमसी? देखिए अब 40 दिन हो गए हैं, वी आर वेल प्रिपेयर्ड। हमें पता है कि पेशेंट आएगा, उसका साइन एंड सिम्टम क्या है, उसको पहली फर्स्ट लाइन ट्रीटमेंट क्या देनी है, उसको सेकंड लाइन ट्रीटमेंट देनी है, क्योंकि अब 40 डेज हो गए जीएमसी राजौरी को हैंडल करते हुए। 7 दिसंबर से वी आर फेसिंग दिस सिचुएशन, और 7 दिसंबर से लेकर आज तक मेरा स्टाफ जो है वो उसने आराम नहीं किया। दे आर ऑलरेडी ऑन 24 आवर्स अलर्ट।
Meanwhile, Budal MLA Javed Iqbal said that he saw children die in agony in front of him, and also appealed to the government to station an ambulance in Jammu or Rajouri so critical patients can be airlifted for advanced treatment. Arrangements should also be made in PGI MER Chandigarh and AIMS Delhi in case the disease spreads, causing a bigger outbreak, according to him. GMC Rajouri should also be strengthened and more staff should be sent there to meet any emergency condition, he stated.
बड़ा दुख का मुकाम है, परेशानी का मुकाम है, और वो छोटे छोटे बच्चों ने तड़प तड़प के मेरे सामने जान दी है। बहुत सेंसिटिव मसला है, तो मेरी हुकूमत से यही अपील है कि एयर एम्बुलेंस को स्टेशन किया जाए, चाहे वो जम्मू में किया जाए या राजौरी में किया जाए, ताकि जो भी क्रिटिकल पेशेंट्स अगर कोई आते हैं तो उनको एडवांस ट्रीटमेंट के लिए ले जाया जाए। पीजीआई चंडीगढ़ में भी अरेंजमेंट किया जाए और उसके साथ साथ एम्स दिल्ली में भी बात करके रखनी चाहिए। अगर ये बीमारी बढ़ जाती है, ज़्यादा आउटब्रेक हो जाता है, तो उसके लिए इंतजाम करने चाहिए। और जो मेडिकल कॉलेज राजौरी है इसको स्ट्रेंथन करना चाहिए, यहाँ स्टाफ भेजना चाहिए किसी भी इमरजेंसी कंडीशन को मीट करने के लिए।
सर 3 बेटियों को कल जम्मू भेजा गया था, उनके बारे में बताएंगे आप, क्या कंडीशन है?
कल डिवीजनल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन की मदद से उनको यहाँ से एयरलिफ्ट किया गया था जम्मू, लेकिन वहाँ से आगे हमें हेल्प ना मिलने की वजह से उनको आगे फर्दर ट्रीटमेंट के लिए पीजीआई नहीं किया गया। उनको वहीं पे एसएमजीएस में ट्रीटमेंट दिया जा रहा है और जीएमसी जम्मू में।
Up next, the government's tax collection are expected to remain healthy in the financial year 2025 to 2026. According to a report by CareAge Ratings, gross tax revenue is projected to grow by 10.4%, slightly higher than the estimated nominal GDP growth of 10.3%. This would result in a tax buoyancy of 1 for the year. The report highlighted that direct tax collection may grow at a slower pace in FY26 due to lower income tax collections, likely caused by potential tax relief measures. For FY26, the net tax revenue is estimated to be Rs 28.2 trillion, with gross tax revenue at Rs 41.4 trillion. The projections underline the importance of sustained economic recovery and effective revenue measures in achieving fiscal goals. However, corporate tax collections are expected to rise by 11.4%, driven by recovery in economic growth. Overall, direct tax revenue is projected to grow by 9.6% to Rs 23.3 trillion. The report also stated that indirect tax revenue is anticipated to grow by 11.9% in FY26, reaching Rs 18.1 trillion. The goods and services tax is expected to contribute significantly, with collections projected to grow by 11.4% to Rs 11.8 trillion. Customs duty collection are also likely to see robust growth of 20%, supported by higher duties on edible oil and possible reversal of the gold customs duty cut. Protective measures for domestic industries may further boost revenue according to the updates. However, excise duty collections are expected to remain subdued due to the reduction of the special edition excise duty on domestically produced crude oil to nil in September 2024. As per the report, non-tax revenue is expected to decline by 9.8% to Rs 4.8 trillion in FY26. Dividends from the Reserve Bank of India are projected to range between Rs 1.1 trillion and Rs 1.3 trillion, significantly lower than Rs 2.1 trillion in the previous year. Divestment receipts has reached far only Rs 86 billion, indicating a shortfall. The success of large investments such as IDBI Bank and shipping corporations will be critical to meeting targets. Those are all the updates for now. For more news, stay tuned and keep watching HornbillTV.